It's the Let's Go Eat and Drink Show with Jimmy Santangelo and Bill Allred. I'm your announcer, Zach Caton, and we're coming to you live on tape from the beautifully appointed Media Center at Visit Salt Lake. Check it out at www.visitsaltlake.com. How would you feel about drinking some 3,000-year-old beer? Even if that would be possible, do you think it would be safe to drink? And would it taste good? Would it taste like beer? Well, Dylan McDonnell thought it might be possible to brew some beer from yeast that was nearly 3,000 years old. McDonnell, a home brewer in Mill Creek, knew that some ancient strains of yeast were available and had been used to make bread. So why not beer? This is the story of a man with a degree in Middle Eastern Studies from the University of Utah who brewed beer from an ancient Egyptian recipe from 3,000-year-old yeast. How did it turn out? How did it taste? Well, let's find out, shall we?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, well, if I can remember how to do this. It's been
Season 2.
Yeah, oh, that's right. So here we are.
We were our first show of season 2.
Oh, wow.
Now, there we go, season 2. Let's get it, let's get going.
I'm sure I'll have it.
You're good?
Yeah, I'm good. I've talked about this enough.
Right.
I can.
Listen, thanks for coming back for season 2. You guys out there, it's been a long time since we've been here, but we're back, Jimmy and me, Bill and Dawson. Hi, Dawson, you're still here, aren't you?
I think so.
Yeah, there he is. Dawson is back there producing the show. So let's see if I can remember how to do this. It's the Let's Go Eat and Drink Show.
That's right.
I got that.
So far, so good.
Yeah. We have a fine sponsor, Beehive Cheese.
Yes, we do.
In a league of its own, Utah's Beehive Cheese elevates humble cheddar. That is really good cheese right there, too.
Pretty good.
To artisanal greatness. With spirited flavors that spark conversation. So you better have a piece of cheese while I'm reading this.
Oh, okay.
So that we can spark conversation. Producing award-winning cheeses that bring friends and family together, Beehive Cheese earned first place at the 2022 American Cheese Society competition and were named makers of the best American cheese at the World Cheese Awards in 2021, earning the Slow Food Snail of Approval late 2022. Beehive Cheese is also one of only 7 American cheesemakers to be B Corp certified. That's really good cheese, and this is called the what?
The Big John. It's a spiced rub from their promontory, their base cheese. It's a cheddar, dairy cow out of northern Ogden area. Feed on all that nice shrub, using the water in that in that valley, so we're real fortunate to have them right here.
We also have some Scotch whiskey that you brought, Jimmy. Tell me about this.
Yeah, we got a lot of beverage today. Harleton Green. This is a Harleston Green. This is a Scotch whiskey. What this is known for is in 1786, some Scottish merchants that had their own bottles of Scotch whiskey played golf. At the first golfing, they introduced golf in this large green area in South Carolina.
Well, at a golf course, I would assume.
Well, it wasn't a golf course yet.
Oh.
It wasn't a golf course yet. They introduced to us in the States the game, as well as Scotch whiskey along with playing. Today, Harleston Green is a famous course. It's referred to as South Carolina's golf course.
All right. So now let's get to the matter at hand, shall we? How would you feel about drinking 3,000-year-old beer? Even if that were possible, do you think it'd be safe to drink it if it were 3,000 years old? Would it taste good? Would it taste like beer? Well, this gentleman right here, Dylan McDonnell, thought that it might be possible to brew some beer from yeast that was nearly 3,000 years old. McDonnell is a home brewer. He lives in Mill Creek. He knew that some ancient strains of yeast were available and had been used to make bread. So why not beer? All right? This is the story of a man with a degree in Middle Eastern Studies from the University of Utah who brewed beer from an ancient Egyptian recipe. And it is, as best we could determine, probably what beer would taste like 3,000 years ago to the Egyptians. Okay?
What
Thanks for being with us.
Oh, thank you.
So how in the world did this get started?
Well, I'm Canadian, so I like beer.
Of course.
So I
By
think
the way, we checked his papers, and he's here legally.
I am. It's true. It's true. Yeah. So I like beer. I've always been a fan. My wife bought me a kit from the Beer Nut like 10 years ago.
Just one of those basic.
Yeah, just a really simple one that you do on your stove.
In the bucket, and you got the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I fell in love because I like beer. So as anybody who's brewed beer knows, you kind of like, it can get more and more complex. And so I went to all grain brewing from there, and then I went from there to sours. Now I'm on to barreling it.
Nice, barrel aged.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Wow.
There's a lot of precision in making beer, you know, and cleanliness. You got to be really accurate.
Yes, no, that was a big part of mine. So actually for a lot of my stuff, I actually bought new material just to make sure there wasn't an introduction of foreign yeast or foreign objects to it. Especially with sours and historical sours, because you have the lactobacillus that goes in there that makes it sour. I wanted to make sure that that was representative of the time.
Now, but I do know that I found this out a few years ago. What do they call them? Lambics?
Lambics, yeah.
Lambics, and they're it's like Belgian, and they leave the roof open so that it can just be fertilized by whatever
Open top funk.
whatever stray yeast happens to be.
Yeah. This is similar to that.
That's very odd to me.
Well, and that's how Egyptians did it back in the day. So they didn't have this idea of germ theory or yeast or anything like that. They just knew you put it in a pot for a few days, it bubbles up, it tastes really good, and
Hieroglyphics are hard to translate.
yeah.
So you Middle Eastern studies is what you got a degree in. So you start researching how the Egyptians made beer.
Yeah. I started with, my first question was, how old of a yeast strain can I get? So I looked at that. I found these scientists who had gotten the yeast strain, and then from there it was finding a good recipe that was representative of the time. Here's what I found though that was interesting was a lot of studies make assumptions about what was in there. So I really had to do my research about what was in there, and I actually cross-referenced it with the findings of what was in King Tut's tomb, so that we could be sure that the ingredients that I was using were actually around back then.
So there's no hieroglyphic recipe specifically for beer, is there?
There is as well. So the Ebers Papyrus in the Luxor Temple.
Oh yeah. Down in Las Vegas.
Yeah. So it's actually it has like 800 different recipes. Some of them are pretty extravagant and pretty out there, but it's one of the largest medical papyrus ever found. So I went through literally every single recipe, found the ones that mentioned beer in it, to try to get the adjuncts out of it, the other things out of it, to see what the taste was, because they added more than just barley to it.
You got a lot of things on the table here.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump ahead.
So let's start with the yeast.
Yeah.
Okay.
You touched on that a little bit, but you wanted to find a yeast that, how do you know how old a yeast is? You can't cart it.
No, I rely on scientists.
Okay.
So again, I reached out to this team of scientists who is, they're based in Germany, but they worked with researchers in Tel Aviv University, I believe.
Okay.
They went to Tel Es Safi, which is a big site that was originally essentially a giant brewery. So back then, the Philistines had 5 major cities. This was the largest of them, and it produced a ton of beer. So what they did is they went to the pots, they scraped out the pots, they put it in a centrifuge and in their
lab,
machines, and they were able to extract what the different microbes were in it. Yeast has this amazing ability to essentially stay dormant for
3,000 years.
for 3,000 years. So they were able to identify that and say this was the yeast that they used back then at this brewery.
So how did you get a hold of it, and was it expensive?
So no, it wasn't expensive. It was a lot of signatures. I had to sign all kinds of documents saying I had to destroy the yeast after, because it's a new market technology. They were originally going to sell the yeast, but last I actually heard, they no longer are doing that. So this is the only batch of this that will ever be created.
Really?
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Okay, so 3,000-year-old yeast Then what? What else goes into this?
Yeah, so the next step was finding out what the barley was that was used. So barley, there's 2 grain, there's 6 grain, there's all kinds of different barley. So I went back, and luckily here in Utah, we have purple Egyptian barley produced here in Utah. So it's kind of a double whammy for me. It's also local, and it's got a heritage back to Egypt.
It's local and 3,000 years old.
Right. Yeah. So it was fantastic that I was able to use these local sources to get this, which is rare. I mean, I was looking elsewhere.
Did you malt the barley?
It was already malted.
It was already malted.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Malt?
Yep.
Nice.
Exactly.
So is this barley?
This one is the barley here. Okay. Now the thing with the barley is, if you notice, this doesn't have holes in it. So barley's great because it sifts the holes sift it so it doesn't get all clumped up. This doesn't have that, so I had to add some rice hulls to it, which they didn't do back then. But if they had rice hulls, I'm sure they would have. So yeah, you can kind of see that as well. Feel free to taste it if you want.
Has a sweet note, I bet.
Yeah, it's kind of bready, but yeah, it's tasty.
No.
So I did that. Now, the other thing that was found in ancient beer was not just that, but was emmer wheat. So emmer, E-M-M-E-R, I believe is how you spell it. But again, it's an ancient wheat that.
Where'd you find that?
I ordered this online. I actually had to. What's the word? I just forgot the word.
Did you have to establish an LLC or anything, something official, or
no?
Just paperwork of your intention with the product of some sort?
Yeah, I had to sign my.
In some cases, perhaps.
Yeah, sign my life away more or less, and I wasn't allowed to like talk about it for a little bit, and I couldn't. Yeah, and it was this big to do with them. I guess it was like 7 pages of documents.
How much did it cost? How much of this wheat did you buy?
Not much. Honestly, so I bought it from a store. I had to acidulate it as well, so turn it into acid, or add lower the pH on it.
Okay.
Because a sour beer has a lower pH. This is about a 3.5 pH. So I had to do that, and I also smoked it because odds are back then.
What did you, in a pipe, or did you roll it? Or
yeah. No, my wife bought me a smoker, which was great.
That's
so
cool.
So I smoked it and added that to it. So you can taste a little bit of smoke, but honestly not much.
Okay. So then there's that. What else do we have here?
So then we've got.
All of this stuff goes into this beer.
All of this stuff. So I'll go through the boring stuff first. So this is. Juniper berries. Thank you. Juniper berries
like
from Bulgaria. There's nothing really noteworthy about these other than they were used in gin.
Cool.
But yeah, they were used regularly.
I love gin, so.
Oh well, help yourself. By all means.
I'm going to drink
A
this.
juniper berry a day.
Let's see. Oh.
Yeah, you get that aromatic?
I love that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll get to some really aromatic stuff here.
Okay, so juniper.
So juniper berries, if you want to take a look at that. And then, so we'll go with raisins. I hate raisins. I don't.
Oh, I love raisins.
Oh well, these are really good raisins.
Golden
Golden raisins.
Sultanas.
Yep. These are good.
A lot of people don't know that the golden raisins are called sultanas.
Yes.
All right.
So I got those from Israel. One of the reasons I tried to source all the material from Israel and Egypt as much as possible was again that introduction of the lactobacillus.
That's great. Shut that for you.
Oh, thanks.
Those are good raisins.
Ooh, they are, right? Again, I don't like raisins. Those were the best ones I could find for
Delicious.
it. So,
It's awesome.
but I wanted all the bacteria from the locally sourced things to be introduced to the beer, so that we had something local.
Okay.
Rather than something from Walmart.
Sure. Now what?
So we'll do that one last. Well, let's do this one. This is frankincense. Everyone loves this one because obviously you've heard it. Yeah. This scared.
I know his bride.
The bride of frankincense.
I don't recommend
terrible.
eating it. It tastes like wax. It's very aromatic. When I made this beer, that was the flavor of it, and it scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, I was like, this is a bad. Yeah. And luckily, over time,
What is frankincense? You hear it, and they brought frankincense and myrrh. What is it?
It's an aromatic. It's something that again I have
Is it
chewed
a flower?
It's a resin.
A resin?
From a tree, yeah.
Oh, when you say that, yeah, it smells kind of piney.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
A little bit.
Yep.
I had no idea and they used it for any number of things.
Yeah,
back in the day.
now they chew it. So a lot of people chew it. This is Hojari frankincense, which is like the top of the line frankincense.
So if I could chew this,
You could chew that 100%. It's waxy, but by all means.
Okay, all right. What the
Oh,
hell?
I love
Yeah.
that.
That smells great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a good smell.
amazing.
The beer has a little bit of taste to it. Again, not as strong as it used to.
Nice.
Okay.
And then these are the Egyptian balsam fruit. So this is a what's the phrase?
Egyptian balsam fruit.
Yeah, so they use it in a famine food. So in times of famine, this is what they'll add to like porridge or to different foods to add flavor to it. It very much smells like a fig or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
yeah.
All of this stuff goes into this beer. I find that amazing.
And this
Yeah.
was part of one of those recipes that you saw when you were researching.
Yeah, so I went through the recipe. There were, and literally identified every ingredient that they used with beer, pulled out the ones that were obviously less than sanitary. So like some said like add cow's something or other, like cow's liver to it. And
What?
yeah, odd stuff.
Some liver beer. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it might have been ceremonial.
Yeah. So
right.
so I removed all those, and I kept the main ones, and these are in almost every beer there is there.
Two things left here.
Yeah, two things. So we've got this one is the cumin. So
Okay.
yeah, pretty simple there.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone smell that.
Man. Okay.
And then this one, so these aren't the actual figs. I'll say that because the figs that I actually got were, and I'll say this, we got them close to the Temple of Karnak at Egypt. I will not say that they were gotten from the Temple of Karnak because that's a World Heritage site and that would be illegal.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they were close by.
They were very
growing
close
on
by.
the outer wall.
Yes, just past the heritage, the heritage site.
Shotgun.
Figs,
shoot.
something that people don't really eat much anymore.
Yeah. Well, so the thing is these used to be plentiful throughout the Middle East until the insect went extinct that pollinates them. So now it's incredibly hard to find these. I literally had talked to dozens of people. I had friends in the Middle East that I'm like, hey, is there any way you can find this? And they're like, I can't. I contacted my friend in Egypt, and I was like, can you go to the open air market and see if you can get it there? She couldn't get it there.
Wow.
But the next day she calls me and she says, so I'm on site at the Temple of Karnak, and let me send you this picture. And she sends me a picture, and I'm like, that's it. That's the fruit. And she's like, I'll get some. Now there's international laws still, right? So she had to go through and she made a trail mix bag and added it to the trail mix, and then got on the plane and then brought it back, and then I washed it
Very
off.
clever.
Yeah. Literally the day I was brewing, so I have these as backup, but the day I'm brewing, they came in. So it felt like serendipity.
I haven't had a fig in a long time. I love fig Newtons.
Oh, yeah.
The
Oh, those are great.
And those are. These are figs you can just buy.
Yeah,
like at
yeah.
Whole Foods or something.
These are black mission figs. So these are I talked to a fig expert out east.
A
'cause I was
fig
like,
expert. Of course, there
I
is
know.
one.
They actually have 10,000 different figs at this place that I contacted. So I was like, what's the closest
Very
thing?
regular.
Right? Yeah.
10,000 varieties.
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah. So
Of figs.
they have over 1,000 different trees. They ship
That's
in from
great.
every. Yeah, it's incredible.
And a fresh fig is something entirely different from these that are
dried.
These
Yes.
are dried. Fresh fig is also a remarkable thing to eat, and you just don't see them anymore.
No. I actually had a can of fresh figs because I was contemplating between fresh or dried, and I ended up going with dry because I felt like it would add more
All right.
flavor.
So all of this stuff, you put it together how?
Well, over a few months, I gathered it up. Honestly, I had a few iterations of the recipe, but the brewing day came, and I put together a pretty standard recipe. So any all-grain brewer would be like, oh yeah, like I did it at 157 and had it there for an hour and a half to extract the sugars from it all, and And then it was just a waiting game after that.
How long was the ferment?
The ferment was about a week and a half,
Nice.
maybe a little bit longer. So it wasn't a long ferment. I wanted to get it into a secondary pretty quickly.
Okay.
A glass secondary so that it could develop the flavors of from the lacto, from the souring.
Yeah.
I'll show you how smart. So I sound smart. Did you use a carboy?
Yes.
I don't really.
I'm not really sure what that means, but I've been in
Some
those
kind of
circles.
vegetable, I know.
No, yeah, so I actually have a giant fermenter, 15-gallon fermenter at home that I.
That's sizable.
Yeah, it's a nice size.
So you make
a mechanical one.
Did you make 15 gallons of this beer?
I made 10 gallons. I probably made 15 gallons. I bottled 10 gallons.
When we first started talking, did I get this right? Did you indicate that this is it?
This is it. So originally, my goal was to make something that other people could build on. So this is as good as I can get as an amateur.
Okay.
Hopefully, some academic will take it and run with it. Was my hope. So I have all my process recorded. I have all my notes, everything like that.
Uh-huh.
And then,
is there an opportunity? If you think that maybe you could sell all of that?
I'm not interested in that. I don't want to do business. This is fun for me. So once you turn fun into business, it's not fun.
And this beautiful terracotta, the beer's in here?
Yeah. So do you want to pour? I can pour some for us.
Talk about this.
Yeah.
Talk about this.
So they were original. I have it in here because this is the original way they would have drank it, was from a terracotta vessel.
Okay.
Good transport.
Yeah, it keeps it kind of cool too, because it is.
Just a little bit.
All right.
Quarter of it.
Now this does come off. If we pour the other stuff that is in the bottle,
Yeah.
it's a lot clearer.
Okay,
and,
let's.
And I'm gonna pour one of mine.
Yeah. Why don't you pour some from the?
Yeah.
Now you bought. How many bottles did you end up making?
100 bottles.
100 bottles.
Yeah, yeah.
And once it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone. Yep.
God, it's really nice of you to bring that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate just you guys showing. Oh, so the it's low carbonation because
Okay.
back then they wouldn't have carbonated.
Sure.
It's 3.5 acidity pH,
pH.
and it's
Percentage of alcohol?
5%.
5%?
Yeah.
All right.
So
Cheers.
Cheers.
More citrusy than I would
Or what?
expect.
Yes.
What would the Egyptians say? Not cheers.
I don't know. You know, there was actually a chant they would do before drinking it. I never learned that, and I got reprimanded by one of the reporters for not being able to do
need
that.
to learn that.
I know, right? Anyway.
Ramses.
Yeah.
Ramses.
It's getting dark in here. They're chanting that.
All
Cheers,
right.
everyone. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing such a passion.
Yeah.
It's really tart.
Yes. Yeah. It's a sour beer. I mean, I would compare it to a Goza.
I don't know what that is.
A very sour beer. It doesn't have any hops in it, so hops wasn't used back 3,000 years ago.
Right. Well, Portland wasn't around.
Yeah.
Are you pleased with this?
I am. You know, I think it worked out pretty well. Again, it's not what you're used to from a typical beer, right?
Yeah.
But anybody who's tried like a sour beer, when I did this with the Tribune, they brought a guy out from one of the breweries, and they,
Oh, nice.
yeah, and they were like, oh yeah, no, this is a good sour beer, and I was like, okay,
I don't know as I've ever had a sour beer.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah.
You may have.
I don't know. What? Trying to think of what. Are there some? There are probably
Squatters does it.
Yeah, Squatters does a good
Squatters
one.
does a
Yeah,
sour.
so you may have, while being there. I love the citrus profile. I mean, like apricot and pineapple, just like tart citrus, but then you almost have this, not a caramel, but definitely a roasted note in there of some sort. It's delicious.
Oh, thank you.
It is great. It's got the same acidity, let's say, as in the wine world, a Sauvignon Blanc. You know what I mean? That acid that really comes through.
It really is almost like a wine.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it's well, and I forgot one of the ingredients. So this is what made it the most expensive. Was the honey. This was over
So
half
there's
the
honey
cost.
in there. Okay.
Yeah, there is honey. So I compare this kind of like a wine, mead, beer combination. This is cedar honey, which is from Yemen, from the cedar tree, the Christ thorn tree.
Wow.
I'm just going to ask you, guess how much that bottle is.
Well, now that you've told me, something about it, I'd say that's probably going to cost you $70.
130.
130 bucks.
I had to use 4 of those.
Ah, jeez.
So that's one of the reasons I would not do this again.
Cost per ounce is a little.
But it has that floral note to it.
It does.
Raw Yemeni honey.
Yeah, and it's one of those, like, they talk about royal honeys and royal like jellies. This is kind of akin to that.
Yeah.
And again, I use that because Christ thorn tree is mentioned in the recipes as well. And so I wanted the honey to be from something that was gathered from something
So
in
to
the
keep
recipe.
everything organized, was it a spreadsheet?
Oh yeah, it was like, and I always joke that that's one of my passions is spreadsheets. So, and my boss would agree with you, or agree with me that it is. Yeah, one of my passions.
And you obviously have a wife that really, really, really loves you.
Yes, thank God. No, yeah, I couldn't do it without her because, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the
That's
fact
great.
that she supports this this kind of I was to say passion, but it's an obsession. Really.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. Well, and it's funny because when this came out, and like I got some decent media attention from it, which was cool. And then her friends were like, "So tell me, really, what do you think about it?" It's like one of those like, "You're not okay with this, right?" And she's like, "No, this is cool."
Does your wife like beer?
She likes this beer. She doesn't like hops.
Oh, hoppy beers.
You know, I find a lot of people when they say they don't like beer, what they don't like is hops.
Yeah, my
fair.
wife is just she drinks these IPAs that are very bitter, and just give me a Pabst,
Honestly, I tell anyone if you think you don't like beer, try a sour, and I guarantee you're going to find one you'll like.
Nice. Nice. Little curveball. What about ciders? Do you like ciders?
I haven't made any ciders. Yeah, I don't mind a cider.
Okay, but
you know?
it's clearly beer's a passion.
Yeah, yeah.
Very-
I like the process and the fact that it's been refined over thousands of years. So,
Sure has.
Man, that's a remarkable, and I hope this takes you someplace, that you can share this with somebody who's going to say, I want to produce this and produce it on a bigger level.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I know that they were looking at the yeast. The people who made the yeast were originally looking at that. I don't know if they are anymore. I did have a brewery reach out to me, and I said, by all means, you might want to do a cheaper recipe though.
Yeah.
Because it's it's expensive.
When did you produce this? Was that this year, last year?
It was April.
April.
Yeah.
So you got about 6 months bottle age, kind of. So are you seeing any changes? Not yet. Probably.
Yeah, it's definitely softened.
It has.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's softened over the last 6 months for sure. Which again is a blessing because when I first tasted it, it tasted like frankincense beer, and I almost wanted to throw it out. Yeah.
Well, good acidity in a wine or a beer, that's going to help it age. So as that softens, it'll come together. So this is only on a trajectory of balanced flavor.
That's my hope. I have one that I'm like keeping for as long as I can possibly keep.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you and your wife are and occasional friends are the only people drinking this, so it'll last you for a while.
Yeah, and I've got probably 30 left.
Yeah.
And then
Man,
So,
what a project!
Yeah.
I mean, just I admire that obsession. It's just, I've never been that obsessed with
Cheers
anything.
to you.
well, thank you.
Except maybe sex. I don't know.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and I like to say, like, when you drink it, like, think of yourself like in Egypt after a hard day's work in the middle of a desert.
Yep.
Like this would be just the most refreshing
Been
drink.
building the pyramids. All right. Dylan McDonnell, absolutely fantastic. Do you have something you like to eat with this?
Anything. I'm not,
A burger and a 3,000-year-old Egyptian beer?
yes, as a Canadian, I'll take beer over water any day.
All right.
So, yeah.
Time for a little splash of news before we end
Sure.
up here?
Yeah, let's do that. We like to something current in the news here. The U.S. cannabis use outpaces daily alcohol consumption, a study shows. I'm looking at you, Dawson. Marijuana is already legalized for adult use in 24 U.S. states. So a long-running U.S. survey of the country's drinkers and cannabis users have found the daily use of marijuana has outpaced alcohol for some time. The paper recorded more daily and near daily users of cannabis versus alcohol in 2022, with a little over 17 million cannabis users compared to 14 million drinkers. The findings were published in a Society of Study Addiction journal by Jonathan Calkins. This is the interesting part. In its 2022 survey, the paper notes that median drinkers reported consuming alcohol 4 to 5 days in a month, while cannabis users had taken the drug 15 to 16 times that month. So it's on the rise. And that's your splash of news. See what I did there, those.
Dylan, I wanted to just mention one other thing. You know, people probably wonder, well, what does Dylan do? And I was just looking at your bio here. Middle Eastern Studies, makes beer, but I think you work at the, you're the Chief Operations Officer for something called Columbus Community Center. Tell people about that briefly.
Columbus Community Center is a place that serves people with disabilities. So we do residential, we do day services, we do job placement, job readiness, just pretty much the whole gambit. So if you have a person with a disability that you want to know what options there are for them, we work with them.
So just building over at 5th East?
Used to be a few decades ago. We're now on 33rd and West Temple. But yeah, no, everyone goes to that building thinking it's us, and then it's brought over to us.
And I like this too. It says Dylan considers his greatest accomplishment being a father of 2 beautiful girls, Madeline Claire and Vivian Elise.
Yes, they're my world. So yeah, I love them to death.
Good for you.
Dylan McDonnell, 3,000-year-old Egyptian beer. Thanks for sharing it with us.
Thank you so
really
much.
Appreciate it. All right, we're about wrapping up here, I think. Check out our, why do you say, it says here, check out our crummy website, Dawson?
I haven't fully built it.
Well, okay, it's crummy then.
For now.
Okay, for now, our crummy website at the Let's Go Eat show, at Let's Go Eat and Drink show at, it's .weeby.com, is that right? Just Weeb?
Weebly.
Oh, you left the L out.
I did.
He's also, this is crummy too, Dawson.
Yes, I'll work on it.
Ask us anything. Join us during a recording by sending an email, the Let's Go Eat Show at gmail.com. Thank you for Beehive Cheese. Thank you, Dylan, for being here, sharing the beer. Thank you, Mr. Santangelo, Jimmy Santangelo. Skol!
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Let's Go Eat and Drink Show with Jimmy Santangelo. You can contact Jimmy at www.thewineacademyofutah.com. As for Bill Allred, it might be best to just leave him alone. Comments, questions, or angry complaints to the management should be directed to the Let's Go Eat Show at gmail.com. The Let's Go Eat and Drink Show is produced by Dawson Dow. Our theme music was composed and recorded by the great Doug Wild. Recording facilities as needed are by the Visit Salt Lake Media Center at www.visitsaltlake.com. The show is a Double Plus production. I'm Zach Caton, and as a layman, my understanding of aged beer is that older means better, right? Like wine. So 3,000 years old should be 3,000 times better than the Pabst you get at the grocery store, right? Right? Jimmy, don't be mad. I'm sorry.